too weak. How long y'all been struggling? Like 2 weeks?
Today we're joined by legend MC Wicks. Thanks for coming on, man.
MC Wicks, what up, man? Fresno, California. We out here, man, representing hip hop, representing culture.
Definitely, man. I've been listening to your music all week. You got an awesome catalog, like plenty of albums, plenty of content. How old were you when you first started in music?
Oh, I was 13, man. I've been rapping. I've never really took a break. It was all gas, no breaks, 100% dedicated, 100% serious. From 13 to now, so it's been 16 years, And I dropped my first official project, I would say, in 2014. So that's my first. It's called Never Had a Dollar EP. Yeah, that's my first project that's like 10 years old now. That's like
Wow,
a decade. So I've been doing it for a little while now.
definitely, man. You kill it too. I love everything I've listened to so far has been awesome.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I just try to have fun. Always been about the craft, and you can never get too comfortable, or you can never get too cocky. You gotta always strive for more greatness, and I think being humble and grounded will always keep you striving for more.
Yeah, definitely. And I was excited. I came across another video, the song you did with someone I interviewed recently, Planet Asia, on Body
Yeah.
Everything.
Shout out to Planet Asia, man. That's I'm from Fresno, California. He's from Fresno. He's from the west side. I was born and raised on the east, but that's a hometown hero. That's a town legend. If I'm kind of somewhat of a local historian, and there's some artists that came out before, like Cool Rock J and DJ Slice. They had a deal in the '80s with Jive, but Planet Asia, he's the first one to come out, and he's still in the game, still relevant, still killing it, still dropping. He's like the most consistent. He's a machine. He never stopped, and yeah, that's like the Rock Him of Fresno right there.
Yeah, man, definitely. How did you two link up for a song? That was cool.
I met Planet Asia at the first show I ever went to in my life. The first show I went to, I was 16. I went to see KRS-One and Planet Asia at the college here at Fresno State, and I seen Asia, and I knew about KRS-One, and then I seen Asia's name on the flyer, and I heard of his name a lot. So before I went there, I started listening to his stuff, and I thought it was really dope. So when I seen him, I introduced myself, and I spit some rhymes, and he gave me props, and I would have never thought he would have remembered me, but 3, 4 years later, he hit me up on Instagram, and no, it was on Facebook. My bad. He hit me up on Facebook, and he's like, "MC Wicks, I see you. Keep doing your thing." And every time I'll see him, he give me some game or some wisdom or some knowledge, and I'll just give props high and by. And 10 years later, we made our first record, Body Everything, on the album Silvertooth Babies. But the crazy thing about me meeting Asia is I met him in February of 2011, and when I dropped our song, it was in February 2021. So literally like 10 years passed, and now it's yeah, it was just a trip, the timing and the month and everything, how that came out.
Man, that's crazy. I love the video for it too. Who does your videos, man? That's it's coming out really good.
The guy that made that one, his name is Money Grip Rob. Yeah, he's dope. He did a lot of my stuff. I work with a few people. Yeah, my boy Josh Wright, Doc TV, TME. I always try to work with different videographers because everyone has a different style.
Yeah.
I don't want every video to be shot the same or color corrected the same. I want there to be a variety of styles and flavors. So I like to definitely work with a lot of different videographers.
Well, yeah, it's working out, man. I love it. I just watched the Don't Want to Cry. I love that song as well, and that video is cool.
Yeah, that's my boy Josh Wright, man. That
Yeah.
that dude right there is super talented. That was like his first music video he shot, and we just did that randomly. Like he stays in the area of like Hollywood Boulevard, not too far.
Yeah.
And we just went there, and it was just that video is like my favorite video, really. All of it was natural, all of it was organic. It was real. It was just me out there just hustling like a day in the life of Wicks, you know? And you
Oh,
got to see organic people, organic reactions, and I had fun doing that one right there, man.
yeah, you can tell it looks cool. And you're just walking around, you can see everyone's reaction as you're doing it. Who's been your biggest, I guess, inspirations in your time in hip hop?
Biggie, Smalls, and Big Pun, Big Al, Ghostface Killer. I said all the bigs first. Ghostface Killer, Nas, Planet Asia, not just because he is from the hometown, but he truly is a big influence of mine. You know, I would throw him in my top 10 for sure. Sean Price, those are the ones that I could think of off the top of the head, like that come to mind immediately. R.A. the Rugged Man as well. He's super dope. But yeah, Nas and Ghostface for sure. I think those are the ones that their influences stayed like at the same level the whole time. Because you know, through time when you age, your top 10 might look different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Ghostface and Sean Price, they've been right there the whole time, man. On the top, man. Those are
Yeah.
my people right there.
They're also, I love Sean Price too. Rest in peace. He's incredible. If you could work with one person you haven't worked with yet tomorrow, who would it be?
I want to do a record with KRS-One, man, for sure. Like, because that like I told you, that was my first hip hop show I ever went to, and man, I had so much fun, and it was so dope to have that experience being in the audience and seeing the MCs do their thing. And I remember at one moment I was having a lot of fun, you know, and I'm looking on the stage and I see the MCs and I see them and they're having fun, and I'm thinking they're having just as fun, if not maybe even more fun than the audience. And I'm like, they get to do this every day. This is their life. This is what they get paid to do. And that really motivated me and put a fire under me to go a lot harder and take the path a lot more serious. And KRS-One and Planet Asia, man, they're to this day some of the best performers I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of shows, but yeah, KRS-One, that's the truth right there, man.
Definitely, I'd love to see a song with all three of you on there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be crazy, man. All in due time, man. I believe in manifestation. You know, manifestation is real, so that's one of the seeds I got planted, and I'm nurturing that. You know, try to make that happen one day.
Yeah, I think it'll happen, man. Yeah, I really love what you're doing, and I gotta say, when you mentioned like Big Pun and a few others before, like when I first came across your videos, it gave me the same feeling as when you find someone who's been doing it is great. Like when I first heard them, it was like the same feeling when I first heard you. I was like, man, who is this? This is crazy.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I think it's all about capturing energy, documenting energy. A lot of the earliest records in hip hop, it was like the rhymes are good, the rhythm is good, but you feel the energy, you feel the soul, you feel the spirit in it. And that's something I think a lot of artists are somewhat lacking nowadays. They just got the voice, the rhythm, the skill, but the energy has always been that's always been what I put on the forefront. I think I was a better live performer than a recording artist for a long time because I'm energy based. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that you're rocking with the music, man. Appreciate that.
Man, yeah, I think but two of my favorite songs of yours would be Bring Back and I love City Bars as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bring back, man. Shout out to my boy Left Coast. That song right there is like my most viewed song. And that one is crazy because I wrote that one in the least amount of time. I wrote that one in like probably like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It was just coming out just natural. It's like the pen was moving itself. And that's one of my favorites from the catalog. City Blocks is I like that one a lot too. With that one, as I was trying to, that's off my album Vivid Visions, and my whole key with that project was to make an album where you could close your eyes and you could see everything I'm speaking about, like vivid details, vivid descriptions. I wanted to paint a picture um, to the best of my ability with my words on that one. So I'm glad you're rocking with that one, City Blocks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, City Blocks. I only said City Bars, but I love that. And Keep It Live off the Steady Styling album. That's man.
Yeah, yeah, Steady Styling, man. That's my first. In my early years of music, that's like the first thing I made that I was like really, really proud of that project, Steady Styling. And to this day, I would consider that my first like underground classic or independent classic.
Yeah.
Shout out to K Pizzle. He made a lot of the beats on there.
Yeah, that's gonna be my next question. Who does all your beats? Because it's yeah, awesome on all your tracks.
Yeah, man. K Pizzle in the early years, like Steady Styling, around that time, like 2015, 2014, K Pizzle was making them. And then that song, Bring Back the Homie Left Coast, has made a few. I work with a producer named Tabletop. Obscure. Obscure is my favorite producer. He produced the Silver Tooth Babies album. And then I got another album he produced, King Grimy. But yeah, Obscure, that's like, he's from my city too, from Fresno. Like, that's my
Yeah.
favorite producer out here of all time, man. Super dope. Hopefully, y'all can hear more from us in the future.
Yeah, definitely, man. That sounds like there's a lot of talent coming from Fresno, man. Like, I love the
Yeah.
song too. You got Cable the Dawn.
Oh, Cable the Don, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super dope, man. That out of a lot of my collaborative songs and stuff, that's like one of my favorite ones. People love that too.
Yeah.
He took me out there. He's from Wilmington. So he kind of gave me like the guide right there. That burger spot that we're rapping at where I'm eating the hamburger, I guess that's like notorious. That's like the hood spot, that's like the ghetto burger spot. Like you want to get the burger and you want to get up out of there, you know what I mean? In and out.
Wow.
But it was cool. He gave me the tour, man. Shout out to Cable the Don.
Yeah, I love that. Get your bars up. That's everyone's gonna check that song out.
Yeah, he's dope, man. He's gonna be doing a lot of good things in the future. I can see it, man. He's on his way.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen another project you're on, Afro and Friends, like 50 MCs.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man.
How did that come
Shout,
about?
shout out to Afro. The first time I like opened up for a sold out show, it was Slick Rick and Killer Priest out here in Fresno. And that was legendary right there, man. But this was around the time when Afro won the competition with Ari the Rugged Man, and he was like blowing up, and he was on top, like he was peaking right there for real in a real way. But I guess one of the openers, he was like friends with them, so that opener, I forgot the opener's name, but he brought Afro on to do a track that they had together, and then I seen Afro there, and I was like, I gave him props, told him congrats. He was like young at the time, like I think he was like 16 or 17 when he blew up, and he was going on those tours, and I'm like, man, you living the dream, man. Like props, congrats. And I asked him like how much for a verse, man? And he's like, oh, I got you. Like, don't trip. And I was like, all right, cool, cool. I thought he was just being nice, but after that, I seen him. I opened up for Ari the Rugged Man a few years later, and he remembered me. He gave props, and then I asked him the same thing, and he had the same response, and I thought he was just being nice, you know. And then fast forward like even more years after that, he's from the Los Angeles area, so I started getting on that scene, and I started seeing Afro a lot at all the shows, and we started doing a lot of shows together, and he was always just showing love, and eventually it happened organically. That's the second posse cut. I'm on both of them, but he reached out to me to get on the first one, and then I got on the second one, and I'm gonna have him on my next project, man. Afro, shout out to Afro.
Man, that's incredible. I love that you two were able to make it happen after all that time.
Yeah, you know, I like to do things organically, you know, even if it takes like the record with Asia took like 10 years, and then this stuff with Afro might have took like 6 years, 7 years, but everything is always better when it's organic, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way you get the best product right there.
Yeah, definitely. What's been your, I guess, your favorite moment so far in your journey?
Man, I got to um I got to do Hyro Day, which is a big festival out here put on by Hieroglyphics, and that was to me that was crazy because I went to Hyro Day right before the pandemic. I think like in 2018 or 19, and then the pandemic happened, and they didn't do it for years. But when I went to Hyro Day the first time, just as a spectator, I had like a lot of fun, and I remember at one point I looked on the stage and I said, one day I'm gonna be on this stage. And the next time they brought it back, I was on the lineup.
Wow.
So I didn't think it was gonna happen that quick, and I didn't know how it was gonna happen. But in the middle of that festival, I just looked at the stage and I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be up there." And it ended up happening, you know, a few years later when they brought it back, when the world pretty much reopened. 2020, I think I was on there in 2022. Yeah,
Wow.
I did a good amount of festivals. Stop Fest, Back to Basics. I opened up for Raekwon and Jizza and Dilated Peoples. But one of the best moments, and I do say this story a lot, so I'll give like the short version. But at that first show I went to with KRS-One and Planet Asia, at the end of his show, he said, "You know, let's open up the mic. We're gonna do a cipher." So everybody jumped in and they started rapping, and I was the youngest one in the crowd. I was 16. So these are all grown men. So I'm rapping, I'm trying to grab the mic, and they're just passing me up. They're just passing me up. And I keep trying to grab the mic. They keep passing me up. And I wish I knew who this dude was, but he was an older white dude. And he's like, "I see you, little homie." He's like, "You want to rap?" He's like, "I'm a rap. When they give me the mic, I'm a rap. Then I'm going to pass you the mic." So he rapped, then he passed me it, and I annihilated it. I bodied it. I stole the whole show, stole the whole moment, you know. And at the time, KRS-One toured with his wife, and he just dropped a book, The Gospel of Hip Hop. So after everyone rapped, she walked up to me and she said, if she asked if I got a book, and I said no, I didn't get a book. And she goes, "All right, come over here, we'll give you one." She took me backstage towards the green room, and I was just gonna stand outside, you know, get the book and go about my business. And she's like, "Oh no, it's all right, you come in." And I came in, I met KRS-One that day, and he gave props, he showed love, and he told me a story. He told me about how he met Scott LaRock in the shelter. He told me about how he was homeless when he first heard his song on the radio. And he told me a bunch of other stuff that I can't remember because I was just kind of starstruck in the moment as a youth. But the one thing he said that I always remembered is he said, "One day I'm gonna be on stage and I'm gonna pass you the mic."
Whoa.
And yeah, that was he planted that seed in my mind. I don't know if he did it intentionally or unintentionally, but he did plant that goal and that seed and that dream in my mind. And after that day, I went to every show on the scene to try to make that happen. And Fast forward 5 or 6 years later, he's back in Fresno. And he does the same thing again. And I'm walking down the stairs to go to the stage. And his wife goes, "Hey, you," and gives me a hug. And I go, "You remember me?" She said, "Of course I do." Then I got on stage and KRS-One goes, "What's up, man?" And I go, "You remember me?" He's like, "Of course I do." So KRS's hype man raps, then KRS-One raps. And the whole time KRS-One is rapping in my mind, I'm thinking, this is it. This is the moment. This is going to be real. This is going to come true. And it was, man. Right when he was done rapping, it seemed like time slowed down. And then he passed me the mic and I bodied it. I went crazy. That footage is actually on YouTube. The second time when the manifestation became real is documented. But I didn't even know the word manifestation or the concept. But after that day, I lived my whole life around that. And I've got a mural in my hometown. Like I said earlier, the High Road Day thing, I manifested that. Records with Planet Asia, with Fashion. I even got on Casual's album of Hieroglyphics and Ghostface is on that record, a posse cut. So ever since that day, he planted that seed and I nurtured it and it grew and I got to get the fruits of the labor out of that, you know, and then that's what I do my whole life. I just give visions, goals, and dreams and just work towards them now.
Man, I
Yeah.
love that too. I'm a believer in it as well.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of good moments, man. A lot of good moments for sure. Like there was another time I did a festival. It was like my first legit festival outside of my hometown called Thought Fest. And they put me on somewhat early, you know, it's my first time getting on. So I was on maybe 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. So there was people there, but only so many because it's early. And I was on the little stage and I was rapping and I was killing it. And you know, I did the call and response and I made people scream and yell things out. And everyone from the main stage heard everyone yelling and they stopped and they're like, "What's going on over here?" And then they walked towards my way and literally everybody left the whole entire main stage, the whole festival, whatever was there. Everybody left that main stage and they walked over to my stage. And the rapper that I was rapping, he had to tell the DJ like, "Hey yo, cut that, turn that off." Then he had to wait for me to finish rapping for him to rap. And that's like the definition of MCing, man. I move the whole crowd to my stage.
Yeah.
So that's another one of my favorite hip hop moments, man. Right there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's a couple of crazy stories right there. I love that. That's incredible moments, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a beautiful journey, man. Ups and downs, but I think it's worth it overall, man. I got some stories and some experiences and you know, that's priceless right there.
Yeah, yeah. You've met like some of the greatest of all time, and you're just amazing as well. So
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
yeah, I wanted to ask something I always ask everyone. What advice would you give to someone starting out, whether it be writing or rapping?
Don't be afraid to dig deeper or go beneath the surface. You know, we give ourselves limitations or we put ourselves in boxes, but all of the greatest artists had no limitations. They had no boxes and just be your authentic self 110% unapologetically. And I think it takes a while to get comfortable doing that. For everybody just naturally, you know, naturally everybody, whether you want to admit it or not, everybody wakes up and they put on like a happy face or a mask when they go out into the world, you know, and socialize. Naturally, all of us do it. That's like kind of human nature. But when you're making music and you're making art, it's best to do it without the mask. You know what I mean? Just stripped down, just raw. Do that shit naked style. Like, fuck it. Fuck the mask. And that's what my advice to all the artists. It took me a while to get comfortable with my vulnerability, and but that's the best. The best art is unfiltered. So just be your authentic, unfiltered self. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And coming off that, I want to ask you, what's been the hardest part of your journey so far, and how'd you get past it?
You know what I say to a lot of people is a lot of people I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of people always quit around the same time. They quit around year 5, 6, and 7. And the reason people quit around those years is because they think, man, I've been doing this for 5 years and I feel like I haven't moved anywhere. I haven't made any progress. I haven't got anywhere. I haven't moved an inch, an ounce. And that's why they give up. But you have to keep pushing, because around those years I kind of wanted to kind of give up too, but I kept pushing no matter what. And my whole life changed on my 11th year of rhyming. So that's the hardest part, I think, for any entrepreneur, any artist. Those are the years that you're going to have the biggest amount of doubt, but you have to almost like feed your delusion, man, feed your dream. Don't care what anyone says. Don't care if people think you're crazy. If that's what you believe in, then stand on it to the end, till the wheels fall off. I think those were some of the hardest years to get by right there. My fifth, sixth, and seventh year of rhyming, and now the hardest thing nowadays, I don't even know, man. I feel blessed, man. I feel blessed to even be a part of the culture. Nowadays, the hardest thing I think is I don't even know. I can't even think of nothing. I'm just happy to be here. Shit. Yeah,
That's
man. I'm
good.
just happy to be here. I try to dwell on the positive things. I try to be optimistic, but there is ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs, and you always got to stay in motion, no matter how fast or how slow you move. As long as you're in motion in the right direction, you'll get to where you got to get.
Yeah, definitely. Do you do a lot of reading?
You know what? I don't read a lot, but recently I've been listening to audiobooks, and I never really even thought about doing stuff like that until like recently. Like recently, I dabble with the psychedelics, and when you do that, you get a lot of answers. You get a lot of enlightenment. A lot of these kind of deep questions that we all kind of ask ourselves, the answer will be brought to you in a hallucination or an experience, and when I got those answers, I'm learning knowledge of self. I'm learning how to heal myself. And it just kind of gave me like a thrill or an addiction to enlightenment and knowledge. So now, like, I don't really, I still do psychedelics here and there, but I'm always searching for more enlightenment and more knowledge now. So recently I have listened to some audiobooks, a lot of stuff by Robert Greene, the 48 Laws of Power. I think a lot of his work is dope.
Yeah.
I listened to a few of his books, Robert Greene, man, crazy.
I can't believe you're saying that. I'm actually reading his books now.
Oh yeah, which
Yeah.
book are you on?
I've just started 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, man,
So,
that stuff is really real. It gives you it kind of lets you know that I guess the root of it or the base of it is most human beings are um emotional and selfish creatures,
yeah.
emotional and self-centered, and once you know that, it's a lot easier to navigate around human beings, but when you study the more psychology stuff you get into, you realize, oh, everyone is kind of self-centered and emotional, and it's like it's a natural thing. Most of us are unaware, so we don't correct it.
Yeah.
But 48 Laws of Power, there's a lot of gems in there. There's so much knowledge in there that you might need to read it a few times,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you'll miss something or you'll overlook something. Then the third or fourth time you'll pick up on what you missed.
Yeah.
That's a powerful book right there.
Yeah, I've got a few of his, but yeah, that's what I've start. I've got the one he did with 50 Cent, the 50th Law as well. So I want to go over
Oh,
that
they
again.
worked on that together. That one,
Yeah.
I was listening to a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that was a collaborative thing, but it reminded me it had the same type of style.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
him and 50 Cent. It's cool.
The art of I think he had one called the art of seduction too. I was listening to a little bit of that.
Yeah.
The only one I haven't heard is it's called Mastery. That's his latest one. And then he says pretty much like that sums up all of his book. It's like a summary. That's like a short version of everything is Mastery. I'm
Yeah,
trying to get to
definitely.
that one next right there. Yeah.
I've got that and the Artist Seduction, but yeah, I haven't read those two. So that's next after this one.
Yeah, yeah. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you can see. It's kind of like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, but you got to make the choice. Do you want to be blind or do you want to be seeing?
Yeah.
Do you want to walk the line blindfolded or do you want to walk the line with your eyes open? And you know, I say to be intelligent is bravery. Everyone ignorance is fear driven. It's based off of fear. We fear the unknown, so we get mad and we get angry at it. But to be heroic, to be intelligent is to be fearless. You got to think of even the people that went to explore outer space. They didn't know if they were going to live or they were going to die. They didn't know what was going to happen. Even the people that explore the deep seas, they don't know if they're going to live or they're going to die, but they sacrifice their life and they work up the courage to find the knowledge. Intelligence is gangster. You got to be
Yeah.
brave to learn it all, to go through that journey. You got to
Yeah.
be brave.
Yeah, I'm so glad I've talked to you, man. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, man. I'm glad you like the music, man. I plan on dropping a lot of music this year. This year, like every few years, I'll have a year where I'll just flood the game
Yep.
and I almost drop too much music, and I feel like I'm back in that mode right now. I'm gonna be dropping a lot.
I'll be listening. And what's your goals on us? Like a two-part of it. First of all, what's your goals for the next 12 months? And then where do you see yourself in 5 years?
For the next 12 months, I want to focus on visuals and online marketing. Like I'm learning how to create ads and target audiences, and I've never really did that. So, I've always put out music videos and I always utilize the internet, but like shows and footwork was always the main way of me getting it out, like word of mouth in person, shaking hands, rocking stages, and I'm still gonna do that. And I feel like I've mastered that, but I haven't mastered the internet side of things. So I've been dabbling in like, Instagram advertisements. That's probably how you seen my music. I started making ads and targeting all English speaking countries and targeting like hip hop heads, tailor making these ads, and I'm trying to master that. This this year for me is mastering the internet and mastering marketing. That's my goal. And in 5 years, I believe that I'll be touring. I believe I'll be going around the world, overseas. That's the goal. Honestly, I'm more trying to get overseas than even worry about America. Like I'd rather go over the water and just go on that side
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Come to Australia, man.
I feel like it's more appreciated overseas. We kind of take it for granted over here, but overseas they appreciate it. So in 5 years, I do want to be touring like Australia, Europe, you know what I mean? South Africa. Like in 5 years, my goal is to have my passport stamped up a lot.
Yeah,
That's what I see as my passport getting stamped, for
definitely.
sure.
That'd be awesome, man. Yeah, definitely got to come to Australia in that time.
Yeah, man. It's real out there. I need to get out there, man, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What's your favorite top three movies of all time?
Damn, that's a good question, man. I like Forrest Gump a lot. I know that sounds funny, but Forrest
Yeah.
Gump really, it really is one of the best movies ever, man. Forrest Gump. And then I would probably throw in Goodfellas. And then recently this movie I seen it. I got into like with the psychedelics and stuff too. I like watching cinematic things or like animations that are bright and vibrant, colors, music. So I got more into like really paying attention to details of film. And I started watching everything by David Lynch. That's like one of my favorite directors. He's super dope, but he made a movie called Blue Velvet. And I think I'm gonna make that my number three on my top three for sure.
I have to check that
Blue
out,
Velvet.
man.
Yeah, Blue Velvet is all of David Lynch's stuff is crazy. But that one's dope, man. Most of it is kind of like vague, or you gotta draw your own conclusion or read between the lines, you know? That's his style of writing and directing, but this one is more kind of direct and straightforward, but it's like very beautiful, vibrant colors, and then he's mixing beauty and darkness together at the same time. It's crazy.
Man,
That's what he was doing with that movie. That's just tight, man.
I'll definitely check that out, and that's the sort of stuff I like watching as well.
Yeah, Blue Velvet. Everyone should watch it at least once,
Yep.
for sure.
And I want to ask you too, what's your process? Because you got so many songs and heaps of awesome albums. What's your process of putting together a song?
Shout out to my OG man, Cubic man, one of my mentors in my earlier years of rhyming. But he's actually from Planet Asia's original crew called Schoolyard, and they also call themselves Yard Massive. But he's from that group, Cubic. He's also from the west side of Fresno, and I remember when I first made a song with him, I didn't know it was Cubic because he had his government name, and he's like, "I want to make a track with you." And I was like, "Yeah, send me some music. If I like it, we'll make something." And he's like, "I'm Cuban from the schoolyard." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "My bad." And I was like, "Yeah." I told him hit up my email, and I'll take my time, and I'll make sure it's right. And he's old school. He's like, "We're not doing that email shit." And he's like, "If you want to make a record with me, you got to pull up, you got to come to the studio, and you got to write it on the spot. Like we don't do that email stuff." And I was like, "Damn, that's pressure," because he's a legend, you know, and he's tight. He's really good. So I pulled up and I met him, and I seen him write one of the dopest verses in like 20 minutes. And then he wrote another dope one in like 10 minutes. He wrote like a whole song. And then I'm writing it and I'm barely like half a verse in, and I'm like, and he's rapping his stuff and it's dope. And I'm like, damn, I gotta be dope, and I gotta be dope quick. So I finished it up, and I rapped my part. And then he told me everything under the sun has been said and done. So don't ever overthink anything. Just do it your way. Everything's been done. All you could do is do it with your own way, your own style. But we've been, society and the world and the planet, we've been here for many years. So you might overthink something, or you might try to be so original that you end up like, it's kind of like damaging to yourself. Don't overthink anything. Just do what feels right and do everything in your own way, and you'll be all right. That's pretty much what he told me. So after that, it made writing a lot more easier, a lot more effortless. So I don't overthink. Like sometimes I'll write a song, I'll write like maybe 3 or 4 bars, and as soon as my mind goes blank, I'll just turn off the beat. And the next day I'll turn on the beat. I might write maybe a line, might maybe write two, and I'll turn off the beat. I don't overthink anything. I don't overanalyze. That's what he taught me. I think that's probably the most vital piece of information I got this whole time of rhyming.
Okay. Yeah, that's great advice, man. It's awesome that you got such a good mentor as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's dope, man. Cubic, man. He has an album called Cubonics. You guys should check that out, man. It's a
Cubonics.
classic right there. Cubonics by Cubic.
I'll check it out.
Kubiq.
I'll check it out, man. That's awesome. And I wanted to ask, what's been your favorite project of yours that you've worked on to this day that you think's the best, or you're just your personal favorite?
Man, I'm at like I'm kind of like there's like two of them that are very, very close, like almost like a tie for me. But there's an album called Ghetto Artsy, and that's one of my favorites. And Silvertooth Babies. Those are like I don't know which one I like more or less, but yeah, with Ghetto Artsy, I was before I wrote that album, I was going to the poetry open mics for like a year. Every week, I write a new poem, and what I learned in the poetry scene is they don't care about how cool your voice is. They don't care about how smooth your rhythm is. They don't care about your energy, your stage presence. They care about like how deep could you go? How below the surface could you go? How low can you go? Like, because I was doing all kinds of cool poems that were sounding tight, but they're like they wanted more substance. They're like go deeper. And I think the first album where I really implemented that lesson was in Ghetto Artsy. That's why I like that one a lot. And then Silvertooth Babies was pretty much I was telling my story, like being a kid growing up in poverty and seeing all these things and learning all these lessons, it was kind of like if I could talk to my younger self, what would I say? And over the years, I learned a lot of lessons by seeing people make mistakes, that are living that street life, or even family, family making mistakes, or OGs giving me lessons, whether that be family members, our street people, our gangsters, our drug dealers. I've learned lessons from many different ways, and I do all of that. So the Silvertooth Babies is just all of the lessons I acquired and pretty much my history and my upbringing. It's like almost like a biography, but I didn't realize that a lot of us are living the same story. A lot of us are living similar stories. So I didn't know it was going to connect with people like the way it did. I thought I was just telling my story, but there's a million Silvertooth Babies all around the world, so it became more powerful.
Yeah, that's epic. I'll finish off with two more questions. Is there anything that I haven't brought up or asked that I should have covered that you wanted to talk about?
Now you asked a lot of good questions, but all I will say is you people should check out the new album Internal Healing right there, man. That's like I said, I was dabbling with the psychedelics and I was trying to work on myself and heal myself, and I was telling you about all those answers that you get and all that enlightenment. Well, all of that, my whole journey was documented in real time. Like I'll be in planet Mars and I'll be outer space and I'll be writing those rhymes if it's happening in real time. Or sometimes I'll learn a lesson and the lesson will be deep. And it was so deep that I was like, I'm going to write this when I'm clear minded. Like the song is called Devil in the Mirror. And it was like the day after my birthday. And I was on psychedelics and I looked in the mirror and I was like, this wasn't a hallucination. It was my real face. I was like mean mugging like right here. I look angry, but down here I was smiling. So half of my face was angry, the top half and the bottom half was smiling, and the smile was kind of like eerie, kind of evil, kind of dark, like a little sinister. And like I said earlier, fear breeds ignorance. Most people will see that they'll get scared and like run away or panic. But me, I took a deep breath and I analyzed and I asked myself, why am I seeing this and what does it mean? And I was looking in the mirror and I was like, why would I be smiling right now at something that looks so crazy? And then I realized what I was seeing is my inner beast. We all have an inner beast. We could all be devilish. We could all be righteous. And it's all lives within us, you know? So I was seeing my inner beast. Growing up, I had a lot of anger problems. I had a lot of aggression and I wasn't able to control that inner beast. And then that's when I realized that's why I'm smiling. I'm looking this beast in the eye and I'm smiling because I control the beast now. And the beast no longer controls me. And music and art was a big reason why I was able to do that because I got all that aggression and that same energy. I just channeled it. I just threw it on the stage. I just threw it on some rhymes in the page. You know, I just channeled my energy. And over time, you learn how to control it. The more you channel it, the more you learn how to control it. But that's my newest music video out right now, Devil in the Mirror. But that was the first verse is the true story. I'm talking about looking in the mirror and seeing a demon and feeling all these things. Like that's all real life. That is not metaphorical. Like that really happened. And like the second verse is just my philosophy on what I've seen
Yeah.
or the conclusion, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, people, if you guys want something deeper, you guys should check that album out. And it was a healing process with me, and hopefully I can heal with my audience as well, you know? We could do it all in real time together, you know? Internal healing, check that out.
Yeah, I love that song too. We're not perfect. There's a devil in that mirror. The lyrics there,
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
We're all
yeah,
naturally flawed. We're all naturally flawed, you know, natural born sinners, everybody.
yeah,
For real. I know that's a little crazy. That's a little deep.
yeah,
That's how some of my I'm not gonna make all my music like that because I don't want to be preachy, but I feel like God did bless me with a talent and a power for and I gotta utilize it here and there for the greater good, you know? So yo, there'll be records like that here and there popping up.
yeah, man. I love that. That's a good message. I love on the song too. Another line you said, don't want to cry. If I die, if I die nobody, I'm gonna shed a tear because it means I didn't get to live my purpose.
Yeah, man. That's a big fear of mine is you know, not living to your fullest potential or not. Nah, I'm very goal driven, you know. I'm always got different goals and different dreams and I feel like before we leave it's our destiny to leave a mark. You know what I mean? I don't care what level I make it to or how far I go as long as I come into this world and then when I leave this world I leave a mark. That's like my main thing right there. That's a big very important thing to me in life. That's why I don't I just make the art and I put it out. I don't overthink it. I just put it out. I just put it out because when I pass away, if there's like 1,000 pieces of art, then I think I did good. You know,
Yeah,
I left something behind, something to be remembered by. I built a legacy. You know, through the art.
definitely. And my last question is, what's your message to the world?
You know what? I'll say this right here, man. And I haven't really, I haven't said this story on any platforms ever, but and it's kind of deep, but I feel like I did have an experience with God. You know, one time. Well, actually, maybe like three times now, but I'll tell you the first one. But like RIP to my dad, man, rest in peace. I never really thought about life and death that much, but when you lose a parent, you realize that you're the resurrection of them. And then you see them in a casket and you see them, but it's also like you're looking at yourself in a sense. And then that's when reality hits you that we all have our expiration date. But he passed away. A lot of my family's older, so I went to a lot of funerals around a certain point in my life, and just seeing all these people in their casket. The one thing I thought, whether I was close to them or not, was were they ready to go? Did they live out their purpose, or did they go kicking and screaming? Did they have regrets? Like I was just thinking, did they do what they were supposed to do? Then I started having I started fearing death so much that it would even be I wouldn't even like sleeping because sleep felt too close to death. I'll go to sleep and then I'll just jump up awake. And I was living with that fear for a while. And one day I was just mad, and I just was like, I was listening to BB King. That's one of my dad's favorite artists. So I was listening to BB King, and then I was just mad, and I just kind of like in my mind, kind of like yelled at God. I was telling God like, why do you put us on earth if we're only here to die? Or why do you put us here if you're just gonna take away our loved ones? Like, what's the point? What's the purpose of life? Like, why are we here? Why are you doing this? Like, it's cold, And I was like kind of screaming and yelling and cussing out in my mind. And it takes a lot of energy to be angry, but so it did take a lot of energy, and then I kind of had to stop and like take a deep breath. And while I was cussing God out in my mind, I couldn't hear no music. I couldn't hear no sounds. It's like the whole world shut off, and all I could hear was my mind and my thoughts. But when I took that deep breath to calm my nerves, I heard the music with clarity. And BB King in his lyrics said, I asked God, what's the purpose of life? Why are we even here? And I took my deep breath, and BB King said, to give love and receive love without any complications. And then I kind of tripped out, and I asked God, like, was that you? Did you do that? And then I started asking more questions. I asked, what do you got to do to get into heaven? And then the same thing, I took a breath, and the music came back. And BB King said something like, I don't remember the exact lyrics on this, but what BB King was saying essentially in the song was, let everyone know I love them. And when I die, make sure I don't got no hate in my heart. Like, don't die with hate in your heart. And then I thought about my dad, and my dad made peace with everybody before he went. The lyrics that BB King was saying is what my dad did. So that gave me reassurance. It let me know that he made it to heaven, and but yeah, I live by those words now, to give love and receive love without any complications. And yeah, that's the true story right there. That's real life. And yeah, I'm not. I don't go to church and all that. I have a personal connection with God, and all you got to do is just reach out, and God communicates, in His own way, through symbolism, through people as vessels, and But I that ever since that day, I knew the purpose of life is love. That's it. That's the message to the world. Is just love. That's all. Simple.
Man, what a story.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
That's, man, thank you for that. That
Appreciate
was
you. Thank you
incredible.
for having me, man. For real.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Thanks. That's mind blowing. Yeah, I love it. You're incredible, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But we'll definitely do this again one day. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
man. When I drop the new project, I'll hit you up, and then we'll talk about that.
yeah,
I should have a new project in a few months, so
yeah.
I'll be
That'll be
I'll
cool.
be hitting you back up, man, for the follow up. You already know.
Definitely. So everybody go check out Internal Healing and check out MC Wicks. He's a legend.
Oh yeah, peace and love.
Peace and love, man. Thanks for coming on. We'll keep in contact. I'll edit this and let you know.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. No, it's Friday there, so stay safe. Yeah, you're blessed.
You already know, man. Peace, peace, peace.
Thank you, brother.